Watching paint dry. Not exactly watching paint dry, but it's essentially that. If you're going to take the time to watch this 8-minute video, it's me basically just painting a unit, so you can quickly move on to something else if this is not your bag. So what I've done with this was an old little chest of drawers or bedside cabinet, whatever you want to call it. Sort of cleaned it off the best as I could, although there's a bit of dust right on the underside I can just see there, which I clearly haven't got to, although I'm not going to be painting that. And quick sand down and a quick brush off again, and then we're off to the paint. This paint it's a two-in-one paint. It's a primer and finish, but as I like to say, it's a bit grinny, so it will get another coat at some stage. I actually trimmed the edge off the top of the unit because it's going to sit against some of the other units that are sitting underneath the staircase. So rather than having sort of an inch gap or a 2.5 centimetre gap, just because of the lip on top of the unit, I decided I'd just take that off. And that way then the unit can sit tight against the units, and I can just put a couple of screws through just to hold everything nice and in place. And then I'm using there's a larger drawer there, sort of 60 centimetre or 2-foot drawer on the right hand side, which I'm just using as a shelf just to house the paint. That'll get used for something else. I haven't found the unit for that, so it may well be they've already used up that unit somewhere along the line, or it was a unit that was a wee bit damaged and ended up getting chucked. So here I am merrily, or here you are merrily watching paint dry, literally. And here's me merrily applying paint. I do like these French sort of rounded brushes. They do work quite well. They're quite good for getting into corners and nooks and crannies and stuff. So I'm a big fan of that. Having been used to sort of the small rectangular ones for bringing in corners and stuff back in the UK. I quite like these, and they're no money at all. About the less than 90 centime, which is probably about 80 pence. Or about $1 and a bit for each brush. There you can go, turning it over now. It's got the modern sort of sliding rails. It's sort of kind of IKEA-esque, this furniture. Oh, it's not from IKEA. I'm assuming it's not come up from IKEA, although it's that style of construction where you've got the bolts and the screws that go in and the Allen keys that fit it all together. So there you can see, obviously my diligence didn't quite pay off as far as there's a wee bit of dust sitting on the bottom, which I think is going to get caught up in that. There you go. Flick that away. Pretend we didn't see that, and continue on with the two-in-one paint. It's actually a solvent-based paint, this as well. So although I'm not going to be able to get second coat in it straight away, which would mean it'll just need a very light sanding before the second coat goes on, and hopefully then the second coat will give it a better coverage overall. But it was just I just like to do something or other. It's during the evenings, there's not a lot to do. I haven't got a great amount of light in the house. I've only got a couple of temporaries that I've put on because the beams are still going to be brought in. And that's after the beams have been brought in, then the white in the ceilings can get painted, and then after that I can finally fit my funky light fittings. So at the moment, I've just rigged up some sort of something that just throws a bit of light into a couple of areas of the room. So I need to be selective where I work when I'm working of an evening. And I'll say evening. This could be anything from sort of 6 o'clock onwards, because also it starts from before 6 o'clock now in the evening. The beginnings of winter, so there's no telly on site yet, so it's either that or watching other people doing YouTube renovations. So I thought I might as well just continue and do a wee bit myself. Helps the past couple of hours in the evening. You can see at the rear there, I've already done the drawers that are for this unit. I've done the drawer faces for that. I had quite a productive day where I was putting all this lot sort of together and got it out of the barn. I've a bit of a clean up, a bit of a sand down, and then off we go. And obviously it'll need another bit of a clean afterwards before we start putting stuff into it. So I will Obviously, there's video evidence of it not being 100% clean, particularly on the bottom. So I need to deal with that, get it all cleaned off, washed down again on the inside before the drawers get put into place, and it becomes a usable piece of furniture again. Um, for the upstairs, I will need sort of bedside cabinets and stuff, but I think I'm going to look in one of the brocants for maybe slightly smaller sized, just so that it scales to the size of the bedrooms. I've just thought these might be a touch overwhelming. There's plenty of room in the two bedrooms for sort of wardrobes and stuff, but as far as putting things at the side of the bed, I think if I'm going to be putting a couple of bedside cabinets in, they'd probably want to be on the slightly smaller side, and that way then you can still get a lamp or whatever on top of it. You can still put your briefs and your socks or tights or whatever into there. Not that I wear tights, but um, you've got that option there. And then we can go a bit wilder on the size of the wardrobes and stuff. Or I might do a built-in. I did a built-in one a couple of years ago for someone in Paris, and it worked quite well. It took a big area and it gave them lots and lots of what they call rangement, so dressing area, closet. The Americans call it closet for whatever reason. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to do that or not. I've not got massively high ceilings, or the ceilings are better in the bedrooms actually than they are downstairs. So you could, to a degree, um, take it floor to ceiling, and that way then you can utilise every last bit of space. But in the front bedroom, you got the issue with the fact that I quite like the fact that we got the window there. And obviously, then you're struggling not to put stuff anywhere too tight to the window, because you want the window to be able to open fully and to be a feature in itself. So, but in the second bedroom, which is sort of long and thin, you could easily get a very large built-in if you wanted to hide a lot of what the cob is. But again, I quite like the cob, so it's a question of trying to keep the features visible and working around them, but obviously still having the fact that you've got storage and stuff in the bedrooms. Anyway, that's decisions for another day, isn't it? Here we are, merrily working our way through. I'm painting, you're watching paint dry, and everybody's tickety boo. I hope you've enjoyed this short, not overly interesting video, to be honest with you, but it's just giving you a few of my thoughts on how I'm going to be designing the bedrooms. Hope you like this video. I hope you'll leave a comment and any advice you may have. Thanks again for watching.